fly for the Atlanta Hawks. Indiana knows they have to make Atlanta pay when they miss threes. They're trying to get out better in transition. As Paul George knocks down his first chance. He's been a monster in this series. Elton Brand, now 35 years of age, former #1 overall pick out of Duke. And one of the few high draft picks on this Atlanta Hawks roster. They are made up of a lot of late first rounders and second rounders. And the friendly bounce at Indiana finds 2 at this point. Pacers have the lead and the ball. And some unusual combinations on the floor now.
But you know what, Bryant? This is the beauty of the postseason, as Paul George is out of its own. It has its own identity. No matter who you are and what your style is, you're going to have to make adjustments over the course of a series to be successful, and that's what we're seeing now.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Indiana and Atlanta series schedule. If necessary, Game 7 in Indiana, and it'll be on TNT. The time is to be determined. For more on this game and all the playoff matchups, please log on to NBA.com.
We've seen that that's one of the disadvantages at times when you go small. It's that ability to control your defensive backboard, and both teams have had issues here early in this game.
Carroll coming off a nice game as George all the way in for the stuff. He shook Millsap free. Paul George.
As long as it's fair, I don't know that I would call the guy who's going to be called the MVP and has had as great a start to his career as you're going to see. Unreliable, maybe inconsistent in this series, but I think you got to give a lot of credit to Tony Allen and that grindhouse mentality of the Memphis Grizzlies.
There's Paul George out of the timeout, hanging in the air, and the finish. Arc going with the Pacers, right? They've been in the playoffs, the 4th consecutive year with Vogel at the helm. First round in the Eastern Conference semis, and then last year the Eastern Conference Finals, taking the Heat to 7 games before bowing out. But a whole new set of circumstances here this year as Paul George knocks it down. And Indiana is back on top by 2. First try. And he gets this one just under 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter, and Indiana with the lead and the ball here. Trying to get this series back to Indiana Saturday. It is a closeout Wednesday, perhaps. All 3 games on the schedule tonight could end. And Paul George taking over. And in a game where Atlanta, who depends on their three-point shooting, is down at 26%, they have the lead. Atlanta by 3. Here's George working on Korver, and that's going to be a foul.
They just got uber, I should say, aggressive did the Hogs once George left the game.
Can bring the Pacers within a point. George now 5 out of 6 from the free throw line. 2 of those were. Pacers had a 9-point lead with 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Paul George got his 4th foul, and it's been a different story since. Shot clock at 2. George guarded by Millsap. 3-pointer is good. Paul George delivers in the clutch. Here we go. 37 left. And that is a steal by George. What a costly turnover for Atlanta. Lou Williams threw it right into the
stretch in must-win games. That's exactly what they've been able to display.
George hit and Williams to make it a 2-possession game. He's got it. George with 2 free throws. Right at George, comes up empty on the layup, an air ball. Got to get a foul here. And George will go back to the free throw line with a chance.
When facing an elimination game on the road, and all they do is play with the poise of a savvy veteran.
He went small. He started with Hibbert, but went small. That was key for him in the first half.